Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 1 of the WBE. Your Detroit Steel Wings are going up against world champion and last season's champion. Last 2 seasons, he's really good at Pokemon. We're going up against Wolfe Glick and the DC Dracovish. He's got a new team, but still just as threatening as ever. And I am excited because we're back in Draft League. And what better way to kick off the comeback to Draft League by facing probably the most difficult opponent I've ever faced in my draft history. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think we've got the team that can pull it off. If you guys are excited, feel free to leave a like on the video. This is a rather long video, as you can tell. I believe it'll be long. I'm assuming it'll be long while I'm recording. But because we're going to do the team builder and the battle all in one, you guys should see in the description there's going to be a little timestamp if you guys want to skip ahead to the battle, as well as on screen somewhere there will be a link, some text that says go to blank for battle start. But we're going to go on ahead and break down through the team. If you guys missed the draft analysis to see what we have, then feel free to check that out in the description as well. Pick yourself up a Detroit Steel Wings shirt. Helps keep the lights on around here. So, of course, thank you to my man Jared for helping me put together this team. We're going to kind of go over everything right now. My opponent has, you guys are going to start to see our teams appear on screen right about now. My opponent has Gigantamax, Duraludon, Dracovish, Rotom Heat, Cursula, Gigalith, Whimsicott, Avalugg, Garbodor, Girder, and Orbeetle. So it's a pretty threatening team on paper. I have no doubt that Wolf will be able to absolutely run shop with this team. It's a great team. I'm going to do my best to just kind of overwhelm it and do what I can with it. So some things to note here are that if you guys are unfamiliar with the WBE draft rules for Sword and Shield, this season we are only allowing the Gigantamax Pokemon to Dynamax or Gigantamax. No other Pokemon can do so. That is one thing to note. Some things about his team. The only hazard removal that he has one spinner in the form of Avalugg. We will be bringing a ghost type this week, so that may prove to our advantage. And then he does have 3 defoggers in the form of, or excuse me, 2 defoggers in the form of Girder and Whimsicott. Rotom did lose access to defog this generation, if I'm not mistaken here. Let me just double check. Yeah, Rotom lost access to defog this generation. So because of that, he only has that in Girder. Girder is a really weird one. Like, Girder gets defog. I don't understand how that happened, but the main thing here is that he has Avalugg, he has Whimsicott, and then he has the Girder as well for that. As far as hazard setting goes, he can set up webs with Orbeetle. He can set up toxic spikes with Garbodor, regular spikes with Garbodor, and then he has 2 Stealth Rockers in the form of Cursula and Gigalith. So the good thing to note is that Hidden Ability Dracovish is not allowed yet. So if he did bring Sand Rush Dracovish with sand, that would be disgusting. So that's kind of good to note. Some other things to note here are that he does not have a ground type, so there is no electric immunity on his team. And not really much on his team wants to take a dragon type move outside of Whimsicott, and we have ways to deal with that. So we're going to go on ahead and start breaking down our team here. The first Pokemon that we are bringing this week is Hinata, the Milotic. Milotic is here. It's the DC Dracovish. He drafted Dracovish. He's going to bring Dracovish. Milotic is here to kind of help with Dracovish. We have 244 EVs in HP, 212 EVs in defense, 52 EVs in special defense, with a bold nature, increasing our defense stat and decreasing our attack stat. We are rocking the Flame Orb with the Marvel Scale ability. The Marvel Scale, if our Pokemon is status, our defense goes up by an extra 50%. In the Flame Orb, we will get burned, which will activate our Marvel Scale. The burn nerf that came in Gen 7 is that it only does 6% as opposed to the 12% in previous generations. Our 4 moves that we're bringing this week: Scald, Dragon Pulse, Recover, and Mirror Coat. Scald is really spammable against his team, in my opinion. Let me move this over here so that way I can reference everything. Scald's really spammable against his team. It's really nice to get a burn on a lot of things. If we can burn something like a Dracovish on a switch, being able to burn things like Gigalith, like Avalugg, Garbodor. You got to be careful about Girder because it does get access to Guts, but that is one thing we do need to keep in mind with there. And because Scald is pretty much unresisted on his team, Whimsicott we don't really want to stay on. We can take a hit and then Mirror Coat it back. But outside of that, the only Pokemon on his team that really appreciates the Scald is that Dracovish. So we do have Dragon Pulse on our Milotic to be able to provide just a little bit more oomph and some damage on there. Nothing too crazy here. Reliable Recovery and Mirror Coat. We're going to be taking some heavy hits. We're going to be taking some Flame Orb damage. So we needed to bring Recover this week just to make sure that we can get ourselves back up to full. The next Pokemon that we're bringing on our team is kind of a special defensive check to some of his mons. Bringing Assault Vest Delmise. Delmise is rocking Bahama, the Delmise, excuse me. Bahama is rocking the Assault Vest with the Steelworker ability, which, if you guys didn't see the breakdown, provides an extra 50% boost to Steel-type moves. The 4 moves that we're bringing this week are Anchor Shot, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, and Phantom Force. We have 252 EVs in attack, 148 EVs in special defense to get the most out of our Assault Vest, and then 108 EVs in speed. The 252, and then we also are Adamant Nature, increasing our attack stat and decreasing our special attack. The 252 EVs in attack do just allow us to hit as hard as we can. You know, this thing is going to want to take special hits. Because of that, putting the 148, it really didn't matter two ways from Sunday if we wanted to put all that in HP or special defense. To increase our special defense more, that's why 148 of those EVs ended up there. The 108 speed EVs after a Rapid Spin to get boosted or buffed in Gen 8, is now a base 50 move, and then it also does rate our speed by 1 stage, so that's an extra 50%, I believe. After that Rapid Spin boost, we are outspeeding base 90s, which does give us access to outspeeding things like Garbodor, access to outspeed things like Orbeetle, we obviously, of course, already outsped the Avalugg, things like uninvested Rotom Heat, uninvested Duraludon, things like that we'll be able to outspeed. Uninvested Orbeetle, we'll be able to, of course, outspeed the Girder after that as well. So Phantom Force is a huge hit coming off of this thing. It does have the ability to break through Protect, so in case he feels like scouting for a move or in case he predicts that, we do have the ability. It does break through to Protect. Once we are faster than some of these not so fast, not so slow mons, we will be able to go for a Phantom Force, avoid their attack, and then get a huge hit off on this thing. Coming off of that base 131 is definitely going to hurt. We do have Earthquake. Earthquake is super effective against the Duraludon. It's super effective against the Gigalith as well as the Garbodor. We do have Rapid Spin. Again, boosting our speed, also to get rid of any hazards that he may have. We don't want to get Toxic Spikes, and if he starts sending up spikes, we don't want to be around for those. So Rapid Spin will be able to take care of that. Anchor Shot's a great move. Anchor Shot is super effective against the Whimsicott, as well as the Gigalith and the Avalugg. Anchor Shot does allow us to trap something, so if we are able to get an Anchor Shot off, we are able to keep it in, lock it in with us. I'm not stuck here, you're stuck here with me. And then we can potentially go for a Rapid Spin, boost some speed, get some hazards out of the way, hit it with a large Earthquake, go for a Phantom Force, and hit it with a big move. He does not have a normal type on his team, so being able to spam things like Scald from Milotic, and being able to spam things like the normal typing not having to do anything with the Scald, but just being able to spam these moves, we want to attack where our opponent can't defend. And that being said, Scald's pretty free, and then where it's not, we do have Dragon Pulse. Phantom Force is really unresisted. Again, nothing on his team really does want to take that. No dark types as well, so that does leave Phantom Force out there. I did consider Shadow Claw, but Phantom Force does provide that little bit of extra damage, as well as the potential to not only break and protect if they do have it, but also to avoid any oncoming damage, get a slow attack off, things like that. The next Pokemon that we're bringing on the team is Nezuko the Ribombee. Nezuko is rocking her choice specs, has the Shield Dust ability. The 4 moves we are bringing this week are Moonblast, Psychic, Trick, and U-Turn. We have 44 EVs in HP, 4 EVs in defense, 252 EVs in special attack, 12 EVs in special defense, and 196 EVs in speed with a Timid Nature. The Timid Nature boosts our speed stat and decreases our attack stat. The 252 EVs in special attack allow us to hit incredibly hard, along paired with those choice specs, which do boost our special attack by an extra 50%, but it does lock us into the first move that we choose. Shield Dust makes it so we are not affected by any secondary effects of a move. So, for example, something like a Discharge coming off of a Rotom Heat, it does have a 30% chance to paralyze. We are not affected by that. It only attacks what is in front of it. The 196 in speed paired with that Timid Nature do allow us to outspeed the entirety of his team. We do hit 185. The fastest Pokemon on his team being Whimsicott with a Timid Nature hits 184. So we are outspeeding that by 1 point. Moonblast is pretty spammable. He does have the resist with Garbodor, and he does have the resistance with the Rotom Heat. Other than that, Choice Specs Moonblast hits really, really hard this week for the Garbodor and for the Rotom Heat. We also do have Psychic. If we are able to wear down a bit of his team and be able, if we do want to cripple something like maybe Eviolite Girder, something maybe like Leftovers Avalugg, something like that, we can trick it a Choice Specs. Neither of those Pokemon really would appreciate that. And then U-Turn does give us a little bit of pivot momentum if we're able to get Ribombee in against something like the Girder, something like the Dracovish if we are faster, if he's not running a Scarf set, something like that. We are going to be able to toss off a Moonblast or get these faster U-Turns off if we are able to make my opponent switch out. So The next Pokemon that we're bringing, I did mention during the team breakdown of Wolf's team that he does not have a ground type, so we are bringing Kevin, the Rotom fan. He's your biggest fan and mine as well. He's rocking the heavy duty boots with the levitate ability, Volt Switch, Air Slash, Thunder Wave, and Light Screen with 252 EVs in HP, 4 EVs in defense, 252 EVs in speed with a timid nature. The 252 EVs in speed with a timid nature allow us to not only speed tie his own Rotom Heat, but we also do outspeed his Duraludon by 1 point. The Volt Switch allows us to, again, electric spam is really unresisted by his team. Not much appreciates it. The Duraludon is probably his best switch into this, looking at his team. Dracovish, it's going to come off of a neutral hit. Anything else, like I said, the Rotom Heat as well could also be a pivot into that, and we do have ways of dealing around that as well, but being able to Volt Switch around is pretty nice in this game because we do spam off unresisted damage. The heavy duty boots allow us to make sure that we are not affected by any stealth rocks that he is able to set on the field. Thunder Wave does provide us for some speed control if he does have any Scarf Pokemon that we don't want to deal with. If there are any Pokemon that we just need to have slowed down in general, Thunder Wave does allow for that and also acts as a chance to fully paralyze my opponent's Pokemon to get off a free move. And then Light Screen is another move that I wanted to bring this week. I was debating Thunderbolt. I was debating, maybe a Nasty Plot set, things like that. But I really liked Light Screen, and you'll see because of our last two Pokemon why I like Light Screen. He has a lot of special presence. He has a lot of special presence with things like Duraludon, with things like Rotom Heat, Persila, Whimsicott, the Orbeetle. You can get off a lot of damage with those from the special side of things, with being able to put up a Light Screen that kind of hinders his ability to put out damage and allows for some of our other Pokemon to kind of rally up in the back, put out some more damage, as well as provides for some setup opportunity, which we do have two sweepers in the back here that we are about to go over. But that's why we're bringing Kevin. He's your #1 fan and mine as well. Next up here, we are bringing Roy the Turtonator. Roy has his White Herb and his Shell Armor, Shell Smash, Focus Blast, Fire Blast, and Dragon Pulse. 4 EVs in defense, 252 EVs in special attack, 252 EVs in speed with a timid nature. With 252 EVs in speed with a timid nature, after a Shell Smash, we are hitting 192. We are outspeeding his entire team as well as an Adamant Scarfed Dracovish. So that is something to keep in mind there. 252 EVs in special attack give us the most damage output possible while still maintaining our speed control over the rest of the team. And then 4 in defense, just because it's a monstrous defense stat. Why not just toss it in there just to give it the extra oomph? Shell Smash, what a Shell Smash does is that it increases our attack, special attack, and speed by 2 stages, drops our defense and special defense by 1 stage. The White Herb will reset any negative stat changes. So we essentially, if we are able to pull off a White Herb Shell Smash, get +2 special attack, +2 special defense, and +2 speed with no hindrance to our own stats. We're very slow beforehand, so we need to be careful when we pull the Roy trigger, but when we do, at +2, this thing just starts, after a Shell Smash, this thing just goes nutty. We have Dragon Pulse and Fire Blast both hit the Duraludon. Dragon Pulse hits the Dracovish. Dragon Pulse hits the Rotom Heat. Dragon Pulse and Fire Blast both hit the Cursula. The Focus Blast hits the Gigalith. Fire Blast hits the Whimsicott. Fire Blast, the entire arsenal hits Avalugg. The entire Fire Blast and Dragon Pulse hit the Garbodor. Everything hits the Girder, and we've got Fire Blast for the Orbeetle. We are running some big boy moves. Focus Blast is a 70% accurate move, and Fire Blast is an 85% accurate move. If we're going to beat somebody like Wolf, we need to not worry, but we need to let the game play as it's going to play. This Pokemon brings a lot to the table, and if we can bring its full potential, and should percentage rolls be in our favor, this Pokemon is going to do a lot to his team, and I'm really looking forward to that and being able to pull that trigger and get that taken care of. The last Pokemon, and again, Rotom being able to set up light screens do help out for things like a Duraludon, for things like a Rotom Heat, an offensive Cursula, things along those lines, and a Whimsicott, of course, as well. That light screen does help us, allow us to put up that Shell Smash as well. The next Pokemon, and actually our dedicated lead matchup, I like the idea of a sweeper in the back. I also like the idea of a Pokemon to kick the door down and say, look at me, I'm here. We are bringing Halsey the Como-O. She is rocking the leftovers with the Bulletproof ability, Stealth Rock, Clangorous Soul, Flamethrower, and Clinging Scales. We have 244 EVs in HP, 20 EVs in defense, 96 EVs in special attack, 148 EVs in speed with a modest nature. Now, what does that do? In this league, in this season, the Omni boosting moves of No Retreat by Phalanx and Clangorous Soul by KoenGraphics were allowed. That's why I drafted KoenGraphics. Clangorous Soul does give us an Omni boost, +1 in attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed for a third of our overall HP. KoenGraphics is going to lead off. We are going to click Clangorous Souls, and provided he does not lead with Duraludon, Dracovish, or Whimsicott, we are pretty free to just click Clangorous Soul in front of whatever is in front of us. We're pretty bulky naturally, and then plus the Clangorous Soul boost is going to increase all of those stats by 1. We have the leftovers for the residual recovery. We do have the opportunity to set up rocks. It is going to provide some really good damage on things like the Rotom Heat, on things like the Orbeetle as well. We did mention his hazard removal capability after the Omni boost with 148 EVs and speed. And rocks, we're pretty much one-shotting everything on his team. A combination of fire and dragon typing goes pretty unresisted. Being able to get off those big hits after the Clangorous Soul Omni boost is going to be very beneficial. Setting up those stealth rocks, we have the Flamethrower hits the Duraludon, Clanging Scales hits Dracovish, Rotom Heat, Cursula. Gigalith is a little scary. I don't think he'll bring it. But Gigalith, unfortunately, can tank some because of his Sandstream and being able to boost its own special defense. Flamethrower hits the Whimsicott, the Avalugg, the Garbodor, the Girder. Clanging Scales hits the Garbodor, the Girder, the Orbeetle, things like that. We're able to put in some tremendous damage right out the gate. It's my initiative to lead with this thing and put him on the ropes as early as possible. I've noticed in matches against Wolf where I am going on the offensive, he typically gets the upper hand sooner and is able to kind of ride that. I kind of want to put that in my own pocket this time around. I want to lead off with this thing, and he may just think, oh, it's Rock's lead. Well, surprise. Clangorous Soul, cue the music. Halsey's going to start singing, and he's going to have to figure out what to do from there. So that's going to be our team going into week 1. We're going to switch over here to the battle. Of course, if you guys are enjoying so far, feel free to leave a like. If you guys are new and excited for WBE content, feel free to subscribe. And like I said, pick up a shirt, helps keep the lights on. All that being said, we're going to switch over to the battle. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WBE Week 1 of Season 4. The Detroit Steel Wings are taking on Wolfe Glick and the DC Dracovish. We are here at the start. If you guys didn't check out the team builder, you guys see my 6, you guys see the 6 that I think he's bringing down there. Leave a like if you're hyped, subscribe if you're new. I'm going to press A at the starting signal, and we are going to be good to go. My opponent is bringing almost everything I anticipated, so that's good. He's got the Whimsicott, the Avalugg, the Dracovish. Do you see the Orbital, the Rotom Heat? The only thing that he did not bring that I was expecting, he is bringing the gosh darn Duraludon. So he is going to be able to do that and do some fun shenanigans with that. But let's go on ahead. We've got all that updated there on the screen. Perfect. Let me make some changes over here. We got 5 out of 6 right. You guys already know the way. You guys already know the way. We're leading Halsey. And then we are going to be good to go. Let's take our time a little bit. Just kind of make him think we don't know what we're doing. We've got our lead, so we know the Avalugg. Probably going to have Sturdy. Orbeetle, we know, let's fill in what we can. We know Rotom Heat's going to have Levitate. We know Dracovish is going to have Tough Claws. We know a few of those things. So I'm going to go on ahead and hit done. We've got our thing good to go. I'm going to load it up. Leading off with Halsey right out the gate. We are opening it up and hopefully going to be able to do some work here. But I'm excited that we got the majority of the team correct. That's what I'm excited about. That I got. It always kind of holds well if I can kind of figure out what's going on in the game. You know, it always is a good thing about that. I'm excited. That's Wolfe VGC, ladies and gentlemen, as I live and breathe. So we're going to go on ahead and go here. I hope you guys like the layout. I spent this is an older layout that we used to have for draft leagues. I tweaked it for the new logo. My opponent is going to lead off with Whimsicott as I lead off with my KoenGraphics. So unfortunately, we don't get to do what I want to do here. So that means in order to save on my chess timer, I am going to switch out into our Bahama Mama. I'm going to switch out into our Bahama Mama here. That's what our dedicated switch into this thing is. I'm not going to spend too much time calcing everything. I do have a few calcs pulled up to be able to kind of dance around and see what's going on. I'd anticipate that this Whimsicott is going to be a choice spec set, which still means Moonblast a 3-hit KO. So we'll see exactly what happens here. This is what I was afraid of, is of the Whimsicott lead, but looking at my team, it was a pretty safe lead for him to go, and he may just U-turn depending on depending on what moveset he's got. So let's see here what we've got going on. My opponent is going to go for the Moon Blast. That is doing about 28. So that might not be choice specs. At a 20%. So he's not specs. And frankly, he's not invested either. That's a max HP set. I am going to go for... Anchor Shot's pretty obvious. Anchor Shot's pretty obvious. I'm slower than most of his team. I'm going to go for the Phantom Force. I don't think he wants to stay in to take a... I don't think he wants to stay in to take that. So we do see the U-turn as well. I'm going to leave a note. No special attack on the Whimsicott. So that's good to know, because if we do get set up with our Coma O, we'll be in a much better spot. The Phantom Force is going to be my best bet because, like I said, we're slower than the majority of his team. If he goes out into Avalugg, we're unfortunately faster than that. But looking at the rest of his team, we are currently slower than. I don't think he'd want to bring in Avalugg on an Anchor Shot either. I do think that Rotom Heat would be the ideal candidate to take this. Let me just take a look here while he is calcing away. A Phantom Force is going to do over half to that Rotom Heat. So he does go out into the Rotom here on our Phantom Force. We are going to be much, much, much slower than this thing, which is good because we're going to be able to get a big hit off here. And this also, with the Phantom Force, does let us charge and keep our timer. It was fun setting up for this draft league, I tell you. But we're all here now. We're going to get a huge hit off. If he's uninvested, he still is much faster than us, unless he's like Iron Ball Rotom Heat. He's sitting at 81. If he's like absolute minimum speed Rotom, we do outspeed it. Actually, if this is, excuse me. And even if he is, he has to be like min speed Iron Ball in order to be slower than us. So someone's going to take this hit. He actually withdraws the Rotom and is going to go out into the Avalugg here. So we're going to be able to get some good damage off on this thing. More than likely going to be like a Rocky Helmet set, if I would have to say. Phantom Force not doing too much. And we do get a little bit of damage there. Well, actually, the damage is from the U-turn, right? 13%. Is there a Rocky Helmet? I missed that. That's why we don't look away there. So I do have a Milotic in the back that we can switch out into in front of this thing. We can recover. We can do a lot of damage here. We can start getting some Scalds off. Be able to recover everything as well. So let's go on ahead and switch out. I didn't see any leftovers. I want to assume that was that. Goes for the recover here, so we know Avalugg has that. Let me see if I can take a quick moment here to kind of check everything on the Avalugg. So if he went for a U-turn on there. U-turn, actually, so it is not Rocky Helmet, which leads me to believe, if we don't see leftovers, that it may be a heavy duty boot set. So he's going to withdraw. We do see the recover on there, and he's going to go out into Maritellet, which is the Orbeetle. And Orbeetle has Frisk. And we do see the leftovers on here as well, which is good to know. I would almost anticipate if this is going to be like a Calm Mind setup. I do want to go back out. I'm going to go back out into Bahama here. And see what this thing wants to go for. Because my opponent actually sets up the Sticky Web, so we are going to be able to Rapid Spin that away. Which is fine by me. Do I keep this thing in here with me? I don't know what he'd have for me. I'm going to Anchor Shot first, as he does reveal the U-turn, so he's got a lot of momentum here. We are going to get an Anchor Shot off on something. More than likely the Rotom Heat, if I had to guess. Because he actually goes out into Dracovish. Fine by me. Any damage on this thing is good damage. Any damage on this thing is good damage. So, Dracovish is going to hurt us in a bad way. Which is why we have here our Hinata to go out into against this thing. And he's going to do what Dracovish does best and click. The click is Suspicious Rend. 189 down to 99. I almost want to say that did way too much. I might be in a little pickle here. Now that he's got those webs up, I might be in a little pickle. I should have brought this thing clean in. I'm going to say Adamant. Got 35 seconds left. Tough Claws. Choice Band. And he is faster than me. That did more damage than it should have. I'm going to try to recover off some of that. That did... did so much damage. Okay. So, Milotic dies to Dracovish, Vicious Ren. Okay, that's fine. So, I can go out into Turtonator and try to take this thing on. I don't want to go on to Turtonator. I'm going to go out into Halsey here. I'm going to go out into Halsey because I don't want my white herb to pop just yet. So Dracovish, 252 attack, Adamant, with Tough Claws, Choice Band, Vicious Rend. That is not doing too much to us. And I think because of that, I don't think he'd let me take this. I'm going to go out into Bahama here. I'm going to double out into Bahama. I don't think he'd want to stay in here if he's locked in. He withdraws. Okay, so he did make the good play of going out into Como, and he actually goes out into the Whimsicott. We're going to be able to spin away the webs, which is good for us. And we're starting to get some chip damage around here as well, which is also good. So let's go for a rapid spin first to kind of reset our speeds here. I'm going to spin these webs away for Turtonator. All right, that Dracovish put us in a little bit of a sticky situation. Unfortunately, our check for that did come down to... Fortunately, our check was that. So if he can lock himself into the Vicious Rend, then we're going to be in a decent position to... We're going to be in a decent position to be able to switch in Como-O. And if we can get these webs out of here, we're looking also pretty good to start clicking buttons with our Clangorous Soul. So he definitely could go out into the Orbeetle, try to set up webs again. Goes down to the Avalugg on the rapid spin. Okay, that's fine by me. We're going to be able to get a spin off. Now, unfortunately, we are kind of unresisted when it comes to this. I don't really have anything that wants to take that now that Hinata's gone. So I think what I want to do is try to get as much damage off on this as possible. Like Bahama. What is... Avalanche is taking out Rotom. Avalanche isn't doing too much to Pertinator. No, let's stay in. Let's weaken this. I'll go for the Phantom Force here. I think Phantom Force is going to be our best way to hit this. Let's go for that. There's the Avalanche coming up. So we do see he's got Recover. He's got Avalanche. That's what I was worried about. Because he can take a hit and he can dish one back out. So if he goes for the Avalanche, that's going to be a little bit problematic for us. But we're going to be able to get some good chip damage off here. As he does go for the Avalanche back. So we do have that coming off. That's fine. Now, what does Coma O do? Let me write down Delmise. Dies to Avalug. Avalanche. All right. Let me go out into Roy now. Trying to think. Halsey's not the right play because he's Focus Sash. We're not going to be able to take a lot of damage here. We could go out into Nezuko and Trick. But I think... Let's go out into Roy. Let's go out into Roy and try to scare this thing out. That's what I want to go for here. And then Rotom Heat will probably be his best pivot. And we're doing some big damage at +2. So let's go on ahead. I'm going to Shell Smash in this thing's face. I'm going to Shell Smash in this thing's face. He does withdraw, so we do get a free Shell Smash off. And he's going to go out into his Whimsicott here. Okay. And now this thing could have Encore, which is what I am worried about. Thing could have Encore. So let's think about this. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to be Encored in. Let's go out into Kevin on the Encore. Let's scout for that. If I have to burn the White Herb, so be it. There's the Encore. Perfect. Okay. So unfortunately, we lost our... Unfortunately, we lost that. So I am going to go for a Light Screen here. Fortunately, we did lose our White Herb, but I am still going to try to play to the best of my abilities here. We still do have the opportunity to set up. He hasn't seen anything on Coma O yet. I'm going to go for the Light Screen, considering most of that, that's how most of his Pokemon are dealing. And depending on what he wants to go out into, we'll be able to deal with that. I'd almost expect maybe the Orbeetle to want to come out here. Let's see what my opponent wants to do. Because my opponent goes out into their own Rotom. Okay, that's fine. Because we do get a Light Screen up. We are a fast pivot, so I don't know what my opponent wants to do. But I certainly can attempt to go for a Volt Switch here. Because my opponent does show the Nasty Plot. And we're going to be able to go for a Volt Switch. And I think our best play right now... We do get a crit on the Rotom as well. So I want to see what +2 Rotom is doing to us behind a screen. Doesn't look like much to Coma O. So I think what I want to do here is I want to go out into Halsey behind the Light Screen. And I want to get my rocks up. We could just see a Volt Switch pivot come off. We could just see a Volt Switch pivot come off. But I'm going to go here for the Stealth Rocks. There's the Shadow Ball. We are bulletproof, so unfortunately he's not going to be able to get damage off on us, and we do get free rocks up. All right, so we do see Shadow Ball on that as well. That would have been a great turn to go for a Clangorous Soul right there. We would have been in a great position. I'm going to go for a Flamethrower, predicting him to want to go out into Whimsicott here. Here's the Thunderbolt as well. And we do see that he is Life Orb. And I think if anything were to happen right now, I think it's going to involve going out into Roy on the Volt Switch, because I do want to keep Como as healthy as possible. He might not have it. He might not have it. There's the Overheat, so we did make the right play there to resist that as much as possible. That was a +2 one. We do know the Rotom's full set now. He is back down to normal. I think, unfortunately, our light screen did wear off, so that is going to be some big boy damage that we're going to take. I think our best play here... So we know he's not going to do that. He could just go for a Thunderbolt. I'm going to go for a... He'd be able to knock me out here. I don't think he'd be able to knock me out. I think to prevent me from Shell Smashing, he would go out into Whimsicott. I'm going to click the Fire Blast here to expect the Whimsicott. He does go for the Shadow Ball, unfortunately. Shadow Ball is going to be some big boy damage. He does take a little bit more Life Orb. We do go for the Fire Blast, and we are able to connect that as well. And we are going to be able to put down the Rotom. Dies to Turtonator, Fire Blast. So what that means is that now he certainly could go for some Sticky Webs right here. He certainly could. I'm going to try my best to Shell Smash, as he does set up the Sticky Web. I'm going to try my best to Shell Smash and see what we can do, because I don't see any priority on his team. Fire Blast is going to put this thing in enough range to knock it out. That's what I'm going to go for here. We missed the Fire Blast. Unfortunately, my opponent's going to go for a Psychic, and that is going to knock me out. So, unfortunately, that would have been a really good position for us. Turtonator dies to Orbeetle Psychic. Unfortunately, we're not in a good position right now. I'm going to go out into Kevin here. We do have the Heavy Duty Boots, so I can click Air Slash. And hopefully be faster than a Banded. We're faster naturally than Dracovish. We're Heavy Duty Boots, so I might be able to get a Thunder Wave off. Our resistance is gone, so let's see what Kevin can do. It's really unfortunate that we missed that Fire Blast, because looking at his team, we were in a pretty good position. I think we had some damage on the Whimsicott, and if it was Heavy Duty, if it was Focus Sash, we broke the Sash, and if it was Heavy Duty Boots, that means we still one-shot it. So, unfortunately, the 85% accurate move did not turn out in our favor. But we are going to be able to go out into our Rotom here, and I am going to click Air Slash. As we are still communicating here. Okay. I'm going to DM Wolf to see what's going on. There we go. Okay, perfect. All right, we're back. We are back. Okay. A little bit of lag there with the servers, but should be okay to go. Should be good. I never noticed that Game Freak logo in the background. Let's take this moment while the server is timing out to kind of get our thoughts together. We're still faster than a lot on his team. Whimsicott shouldn't be able to do too much to us. We should be able to go for an air slash pretty freely. Should be able to go for an air slash pretty freely. Fortunately, I'm hoping there's no DCs involved, because this has been a pretty interesting game so far. I'm going to send him a picture to show that we're still connected. We're live, baby. Woo! Woo! No DCs here yet. So I don't know what exactly is the holdup here, if the server that we are playing on is laggy, but there we go. All right. I don't know what just happened. I'm gonna click air slash. I don't know what's going on, but let's go on ahead and hit air slash. It seems pretty free, and there's 30% chance to flinch something, so fortunately, because a lot of his Pokemon are faster, we don't have a solid means to click Clangorous Soul with our Ho-Oh unless it's in front of maybe the Avalugg, but then we're still not faster than anything. So, unfortunately, with the webs down, we're in a little bit of a tricky situation. We still got a pretty bulky Ho-Oh in the back. We still have our Ribombee, which is pretty fast. Unfortunately, under webs, it's going to get knocked out by the Dracovish, but we're going to do our best here to kind of take care of that. So we're gonna see what happens. I don't know if the server that we might be using is laggy or what, but all right, we're back and we're able to go for an air slash. We're doing some big boy damage there to that Orbeetle, and he does go for the Psychic just to get a little bit of chip damage there, which is fine. He does get a special defense drop, which is certainly okay. I'm gonna do my best here to just click air slash. I think what I might do actually is go for a light screen here just in case. Can go for another Psychic, but that'll be fine. All right, let's go on ahead and fight. Let's go for our light screen here. We're going to do our best to kind of put ourselves in as winning position as possible. That's what we're going to do here. Put ourselves in as good of a winning position as possible. If we can get a light screen up, we might be able to Thunderwave the Dracovish, and even though we'll be slower with our... if we can Thunderwave the Dracovish, I think we might be in a little bit of an okay situation. I need to worry about the Whimsicott, and I need to worry about the Dracovish. Duraludon hasn't even made its way in yet. I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on, but the plan here is we're going to Thunderwave, or we should be faster. The damage that Dracovish is throwing off is banded, which means we should be faster than that Dracovish. It only does hit 139. We're hitting 151. So if we can get a light screen up and then knock this thing out, we would need to go into the Dracovish where we can Thunderwave that. And depending on the move he locks himself into, hopefully get a little bit more damage off. I still want to try my best to put ourselves in a position to take to go for a Clangorous Soul or something. We still have enough HP. If I can worry about the Whimsicott, I can get some chip damage off some hazards. Maybe we can still do this. Maybe, just maybe. Still have Specs Whimsicott in the back. Moonblast is looking pretty nice right about now. At -1, we may... depending on the Duraludon set, we might not be faster, but let's see what it is. Let's worry about the connection set just one step at a time here. So, it does go on to Avalugg here. We do not see him take any damage, so that does mean that he does have the heavy-duty boots on, so let's keep note of that here. We do have the option to just kind of air slash this thing. I also don't know if... let's see. Avalugg. Avalanche would kill us. So I think what we should do here... I'm going to play my roles with some air slashing. Because Avalugg's not that bulky, especially. If I can get one flinch off, we're looking good. He actually rapid spins the rocks away. We still have our light screen up. That means, is he Sash Whimsicott? Definitely could be. I'm still just going to keep clicking air slash. It's unresisted. We're going to get some damage off on something. We're still faster than Dragovich in the back. So we do knock out the Avalugg. Dies to Rotom, Air Slash. Duraludon comes out. Okay. I am going to Thunder Wave the ever-loving hell out of you. Because you are about to G-Max and hurt me bad. All right, here it comes. Here it comes. Thumbnail time. Thumbnail time. What do we got? All right, we do get Thunder Wave up. That's good. And he is going to go for the G-Max depletion. So that's going to knock out our Rotom here. Kevin goes down. Dies to G-Max depletion. So let's see what Bombi against Duraludon. Level 50. Moonblast is doing a lot of damage. I think especially if he has that. He's not gonna be faster because we did get the paralysis off. And I certainly don't want to trick him anything. Let's go for the Moonblast. We're doing some big boy damage. We got the big boy damage. Here comes the Max Steel Spike. Max Steel Spike's gonna knock us out. Dies to Max Steel Spike D-Max. All right, light screen wore off. That's unfortunate because now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out into Halsey. We're gonna hopefully hit Clangorous Soul. We're gonna go for that and hope he gets fully paralyzed, because that is our only chance to win right now. Let's see what happens, kids. Let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on. He withdraws the Duraludon, actually. He withdraws. If we would have went for a flamethrower here or something on the Whimsicott coming in, that would have been great. That would have been fantastic, but unfortunately, it's not the case. I'm curious. Oh, he can Encore me, though. He can Encore me, though. Yeah. He can Encore me, though. We're not even... Yeah, he can just click Moonblast as well. Yeah, we're at 54. All right, that's going to be game. I'm going to click Flamethrower on the off chance that he chokes and doesn't click either of those. But here comes the Encore just to Clangorous Souls me one more time. We're going to Clanging Souls ourselves to death. He gave Halsey an Encore. That's all we ever really want in life. That's all we ever really want in life. Is just an Encore from Halsey. But unfortunately, we are going to go down. We had some opportunities to pull this off. Wolfe, of course, played very well. I think we would have been in a much better position if Turtonator would have connected the... If Turtonator would have certainly connected when we needed him to. I wish I could Dynamax and just break it, but I can only use Clangorous Soul due to my boost. So due to my Encore. So I'm gonna go for that. Fortunately, it fails, and he's gonna be able to go for a Moonblast, and that's gonna be GG. Great battle from Wolfe. Thank you for dealing with me during the technical difficulties where our servers were going every which this, that, and the other. I wish I could have got boosted and taken it, but unfortunately, we're probably benching Roy next week. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the first official Pokemon Wi-Fi battle here on the channel, at least in the singles format. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys have, feel free to show some love on that like button. Of course, if you guys are new, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. Pick up a shirt, helps to keep the lights on. All that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great and do great. And I'll see you all in the next video. Later.